Hey, what's up, everybody? Just testing the live feature on the public channel now. I want to see how this comes through. Maybe using this a little bit throughout the season, and I just want to take a look and see how this looks on your end if you click the link and check it out. So I'm pulling it up on my computer, and I see that it comes up in a nice window. Has an ability to chat. I'm going to test that out and see how I see it, and I see it pops up. That's nice. Hopefully that'll stay on the screen. And if you are watching, I see I've got a few people watching. Hey Patrick, a little blurry. Yeah, I see that. I'm using my front-facing camera, so I don't know if that's something. Yeah, I can. I see I can flip that around. So if I'm doing a game or whatever, I can flip it around to use the back camera. That's a little more clearer. Um, what do I think about Wes Meck this year? I think Wes Meck is very talented. On the offensive side of the ball, I actually told their offense coordinator I love their offense. I saw them at the Charlotte kickoff press conference, and Jarvis Davis has done a really good job in turning the program around in such a short period of time after taking over from Jeff Caldwell. And just speed is what I think about on the offensive side of the ball with the Brown brothers. And Tyler Barnes is a great possession receiver on the outside. The new quarterback taking over from Richard Latimer apparently is doing really well. I saw they did well in 7-on-7s over the summer. The offensive line's led by Kajoga Bello. I like the way he plays. I'm very impressed. I was impressed with him last year when I went over there and spoke with those guys. Defense, I think, is the key if they're going to get past the second round of playoffs. I think they had a nice season last year, but they've got a lot of talent, and they can go far if defensively, they are able to slow teams down and get more possessions for their offense. But I really do like Wes Meck, definitely. Um, my top three. Patrick, that's actually coming up really soon. That's going to come up in the Charlotte Conference's best to last. That's going to be revealed within the next week. I've got a schedule of when I'm going to release it. But I will tell you some teams that I like. Butler, Myers Park, Valley Creek, Vance, Huff, South Meck, Harding, West Meck, who I just mentioned, Lake Norman. Um, so all of those teams that I just mentioned, I like are in consideration for the top three spots, and I haven't decided what the top three exactly is, but all those schools are in consideration for it for sure. I appreciate you guys coming and asking some questions. I was really just doing a test. I wasn't expecting anyone to jump on here and have some questions, but that's great. I've actually got another video coming out later this evening. It's going to talk about the top coaching staffs in the Charlotte Conference's best to last. Those 22 or 23 schools that I talked about before in previous videos. Those are the schools I focus on right now. Another question from Jalen. What about the kickoff West Meck versus Vance? I'll tell you now. Week 1, August 14th, me and Dale Ross will be shooting our videos like we always do at the beginning of each week. And that game will be prominently featured and broken down on that day when we shoot those videos. And we usually stream that through the Carolina Varsity channel. So just stay tuned for that. But I think that's going to be a heck of a game. It was a great game last year over at West Meck, went into overtime. And I think it'll be another classic type of game this year for sure, Jalen. Wake County versus Mecklenburg County in state championship. Man, I tell you, I like what Wake Forest has done so far. They did nothing but pick up from where they were last year. Let me turn this down. I'm getting some feedback. But yeah, they went down to the Powerade 7-on-7 tournament, the Invitational, and won that. And they've shown that the championship so far from last year wasn't a fluke, and it's a definite possibility. I think in Mecklenburg County we've got some teams that definitely have that championship ability. The same teams that I just mentioned a few minutes ago can definitely get hot and get on a roll and make a run to the state title. But the thing about it is, um, in Mecklenburg County, we saw it last year. We beat up on each other down here so much, and by the time we get to that state semifinal or state final, it's been such a battle and a physical toll that in some cases that you just worn down, and we saw that with Vance. They got through the gauntlet of Mecklenburg County, then they went up to Page, and they didn't have much left in the tank, and Page took advantage of that. So I think that, of course, that matchup is possible. Um, oh, you're welcome, Jalen. That's no problem, man. I really like your dad. Jarvis is a really cool guy to talk to. When I first met him last year, one of the things he said was that they did really well in the summer last year, but no one took notice of them. And when we got over there last year, they were so appreciative and so welcoming that you know, anything with West Meck, I'm glad to talk about or go over there and give them coverage, because that's what we do at Carolina Varsity. We just don't focus on the bigger schools. We focus on everybody, and West Meck is honestly one of my favorite places to cover. And those guys do a great job, and your dad is one of my favorites to talk to. I can share that. He's a really cool guy, and he does a heck of a job coaching that West Meck football team. Um, so I tell you guys, I appreciate your excitement. And like I said, we're gonna have a lot more coming up this week in terms of coverage and videos and things of that nature. It looks like from sharing this thing, when you guys post a question, it stays up there a little bit, but then it goes away. I'm gonna see if I could find a way to pull. Okay, so if I hit that button, they come back up, so that's good. Okay, so it'll show. Okay, all right. So it's got some options to where the questions can stay on the screen. That's cool. I can flip the camera around, so um, you were at the Audrey Kell game, saw him interview. Oh yeah, yeah. That game last year with West Meck and Audrey Kell was a shootout. That was a wild game. Both teams' offenses were on fire. Yeah, it was nice talking to your dad after that game, Jalen, and he was honest about things, and talking to Richard Latimer also after that game as well. It's definitely a pleasure. Patrick, let me see your question again. I think 3AA West in playoffs this year are going to be really good, but tough games and good teams being. Oh yeah, the three. We talked about it on the radio show. Um, 3A and 3AA both are just ridiculous. With the number of teams that moved down from 4A and 4AA down to those 3A and 3AA ranks. That's why you've got the expanded playoffs and the 3A and 3AA to allow for those teams that move down. But you kind of got the same thing going on, like I mentioned with Charlotte. You're gonna have a lot of good teams in the first couple rounds beat up on each other, and then once time goes on, you gotta make sure you've got enough depth and keep your teams fresh to make sure you can sustain the battles going on deeper into the playoffs. So, yeah, 3AA West is going to be ridiculous. I think if you look specifically at the Southern Carolina Conference, where Catholic's joining an already tough group with Weddington, Marvin Ridge, and Sun Valley, and Monroe. I mean, good grief. I mean, just that right there is state championship quality in one conference. So yeah, that bracket's going to be ridiculous, and we've got a couple guys that'll specialize down there, especially Derek Miller. we'll really break that bracket down also. But I definitely appreciate the time, guys. I see we had a couple people join us. And like I said, I was just doing some testing, but it's good to see the passion and desire for high school football on a Sunday afternoon. It's greatly appreciated. And like I said, stay tuned tonight. We'll have the coaching staff breakdown for the Charlotte Conference's best to last. I just did a video on the best scrimmages to check out this upcoming week. It's on my channel, so check that out as well. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate the time, and appreciate your support for CarolinaVarsity.com.